Hey guys, it's Zazu Cioce, resident physical therapist here at VarsityHouse, and I just wanted to bring you a quick second on posture, especially standing posture. Basically, what we're just going to talk about is what is going to be optimal spinal alignment, especially for most of your everyday activities. And so I'm just going to take you through what that kind of looks like, especially if you do find yourself, standing in the kitchen or standing outside or standing in general. And you can also think about these things when you're sitting as well. But certainly in standing, we should be able to see basically from our head all the way down to our ankles, some good alignment. So I'm just going to kind of take you through it. Let me know what you think. All right, so we're in just normal kind of standing posture. So, most people's default postures is to kind of collapse down, especially if you bring in a phone or some sort of device, right? Because generally the device is down here, and this is kind of like what ends up happening. So first of all, if you're going to be on your device, sitting or standing, you should definitely bring it up to eye level so that your neck is in a little bit more of a neutral position. It's okay if you're down here, but you want to think about movement variability. If you're down here all the time, that's going to start to create problems in the back of your neck, upper, thorax or upper back, and, chest tightening up, all that kind of stuff. So it's okay for a little while, but you want to do some movement variability. So bringing it up to eye level is really helpful as well. So kind of going between the two, maybe even bring it to the side for a little bit or bring it to the other side. So that's just one little quick tip on basically device management as you're on your devices. So back to now whole body posture. So again, most of us are kind of down here. What we want to think about is we want to basically align the entire spine. So that's cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and then pelvis into sacrum here. And so the spine should have some natural curvature to it, but in general should be fairly stacked one on top of another, so that the forces are going through the entire spine instead of going through, different areas that then create muscle imbalances and issues. Bring the shoulders kind of back and down. What that naturally does for most people is it brings the rib cage up a little bit as well. Okay, so then from there, it's a little bit easier to kind of bring the head back to a little bit more of a neutral position. So you're slightly kind of tucking in the chin, not so far that you're making a double chin, but just enough so that you feel like the ear is in line with the top of the shoulder. So once we've got those two aligned a little bit better, the next portion of the, spinal alignment is going to be to have the shoulder aligned with kind of like the center of your hip here. So you're going to basically kind of stack your ribs on top of your pelvis. If you think about the pelvis as like a bucket and the ribs as kind of dumping into the bucket, the bottom of the ribs, you want to think about, you want to dump into the bucket. If your ribs are flared out like this, you're going to dump in front of that bucket. If your ribs are, down like this, you're going to dump behind it. So you want to think about, pretend there's, a whole bunch of stuff in my ribs and I'm trying to dump them down into my pelvis, which is the bucket. So you're really thinking about, how can I stack that rib cage up on top of the actual pelvis? And so it looks a little bit something like this. All right, and so from there, you should also be having a little bit of a curve in the lumbar spine. So you shouldn't be flat like this. So everyone should have, about 12, 14 degrees of what we call an anterior pelvic tilt of the pelvis. And that's what neutral is. So your neutral isn't actually like having your pelvis completely flat. It's actually having a little bit of curve in your lumbar spine. And so you just want to make sure that that's there, especially a lot of us tend to kind of hang out with our butt tucked under. You want to make sure that your butt is just, a little bit tucked out, but not excessive either. Okay? So, all right, so kind of reviewing. So we've got the ears, or kind of the head here, kind of right in line with the shoulder, and then you've got the rib cage in line with the pelvis so that the shoulder is in line with the middle of the hip. The next part of it is the knee. So you want basically the hip to be in line with the knee, to be in line with the ankle, so that when we are standing, we can basically draw a line from the center of our ear through the shoulder joint, through the hip joint, through the knee joint, through the ankle joint. And so that is a really good way to basically know what's your alignment looking like. Are you hanging out over here? Would I be able to draw a line between all of those landmarks? If not, then it's time to play with it a little bit. And again, movement variability is the key. So being in different positions other than this optimal position is okay. And you know what? That's life. It's gonna happen. And that's all right, and we shouldn't fight it. But what we should do is think about, okay, I've been here for a while. Let me come back here and hang out here for a while. And then kind of play with different postures and positions from there. So this will change a little bit as we start to, move into higher level movements, higher level exercises. All right, everybody, that's it for today. More on how to stabilize your spine during higher level movements next time. Look forward to catching you guys on the next Movement Minute. Have a good day.